Hello guys, in this tutorial what we're going to do is we're going to light and render in Blender Eevee, the real-time render engine. So in this lighting course or in this lighting tutorial, what we're going to do is we're going to uh, do two scenes. The first one is the day scene and the second one is the night scene. So when we start the day scene, first click right here, this empty axis, and right click and then go to cursor to select it so that the cursor will be right here, and go to add and then light and then area light, and then I'm going to make the click right here and I'm going to make the power to 200 watt, and I'm going to first go, let me change go render properties and change this to Eevee and go back to this object data properties, and I'm going to slide down the shadow and I'm going to activate this contact shadow and I'm going to make the thickness to 0.0 meters. This will I will show you the effect of this one later. And I'm going to this side and I'm going to rotate it 90 degree. As you can see, it is rotated in the direction that I don't want it to be, so I'm going to press minus in my keyboard and I'm going to press enter. As you can see, when I press minus, it has inverted it. So I'm going to move it. First I'm going to deactivate the snap button. I'm going to move it right around here. This is good. And I'm going to GZ and scale X, I mean Y, and scale Z. Now we have our light in our window, and I'm going to hide this one also by pressing H, and I guess I'm going to go to the render view right here. So as you can see, we have now the light right here, but the light is not getting inside the room. The reason behind that is, I will show you. Select this window right here, go to the material properties and go to the glass right here and make the shadow mode to none. So when we do that, we are telling this material to not cast any shadows. So that's, and you can use two ways in order to not cast shadow. The second one is alpha hashed. As you can see, we still can have shadows, but it's more accurate. So in this case, I don't need shadows, so I'm going to make this to none so that I won't have any problems. So next, we have some kind of lighting in our scene, right? As you can see, it's looking really good already. So next, what I'm going to do is go to the top view and shift right click right here, or right click right here, and then go to add and then go to camera. And then I'm going to GZ, move this in the Z direction. And I'm going to press 0 in order to go to my camera view, or I can go to view, camera, and active camera. When I do that, again, it will deactivate the camera, and when I do that again, it's going to activate the camera, or I can use my navigation panel to snap out of my camera view. I'm going to press 0 to go to the camera view and go to view, walk navigation, and then press walk navigation. What this will do is it will navigate easily without using my middle mouse to navigate. So as you can see, when I press W, it's going to move forward, S backward, A to the left, and B to the right, E upward, and Q downward. So make sure to keep this in mind. So I'm going to move it right around here. And I'm going to, since the camera is selected, I'm going to press this camera object data properties. I'm going to go to viewport display and I'm going to make the paper pass out to 1. So when I do this, now I can only see what my camera sees, and anything outside my camera is not visible. So next, I'm going to go to the focal length. I'm going to make it 30 so that I can see more of my room. As you can see, now we have a wider angle. So next, I'm going to press S, save, in order to save everything. And next, what we're going to do is we're going to bake indirect lighting. As you can see, our scene does not have indirect lighting. It only has direct lighting. There is no bounce reflections, bounce indirect lighting that's happening all over our room. So first, before we do that, go to world setting right here, world properties, and change the strength to 0. As you can see, when I do that, now the scene is a little bit darker. The reason behind that is if this is 1, the scene is getting a light that is with the strength of 1 and with a color of like darker dark gray. So if I make this to white, as you can see, the scene is getting a light that has a strength of 1 and with a color of this. I don't know what this color is. I think it's a little bit to white, I cannot call it gray, so we don't need this light in Eevee. So I'm going to make this to 0, or I can keep this to 1, and I'm going to change this to black. Since black does not release any light, doesn't matter if I change this strings to anything, it won't release any light. But in case, I'm going to just make it this to 0. So make sure you do this. We're not going to use any HDRI or this world lighting in Eevee, since Eevee is a little bit hard to achieve realism. We're not going to use this. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the solid view and go to the top view and shift right click right here, so that we'll snap the cursor right here. Go to add, and then go to light probe and go to irradiance volume, and I'm going to activate this X-ray mode so that I can see clearly. I'm going to press SX to scale it in the X axis. So make sure that this probe is a little bit bigger than your room, a little bit, just a little bit. So I think we have our irradiance volume, and click the irradiance volume, go to object data properties right here and make the X resolution to 8. Since the length of this room is a little bit larger, we're going to increase the resolution in X to 8, and I'm going to make the Y to 6, and I'm going to just leave the Z as 4. And next I'm going to go to add again, go to light probe, and I'm going to add reflection cube up, so that we will have a reflection in our scene, a little bit more of accurate reflection in our scene. So make sure that this one is also includes or encompasses all of the room, as you can see. And next, again, I'm going to go to light point reflection planes, go to select this one, activate show preview plane, so that you will see this plane, and go to rendered view. As you can see, we can see now this glass looking material. This is the reflection plane. So if I deactivate the show preview plane, I cannot see it, or I cannot see where this is placed. So I'm going to activate this one to see where the plane is at, and I'm going to press GZ. So as you can see, it's a little bit below, and I'm going to move it just upper so that it will be a little bit above my floor, just a little bit above my floor. That's how we place irradiance volumes, I mean reflection planes. After we do that, I'm going to activate this show preview plane. I'm going to press SX to scale it in the X. So let's scale it so that it will fit our room, since scale X, scale Y. I think this is good. And next, what I'm going to do is go to the camera view by pressing 0 in my numpad, or you can assign the shortcut that you want. I have showed you earlier. And go to rendered view right here, and we're going to adjust the settings. So first, I'm going to activate this ambient occlusion, and I'm going to make the trace precision to 0.5 and the distance to 0.5. I mean, let's make this to 1 and activate both of them this once, and activate screen space refraction, so that we'll have reflections and refraction in our scenes, and activate also refraction, and activate motion blur. Since we're going to animate our camera, we're going to need some motion blur in our camera, so that we can have such realism when we move our camera. And then change this one to 1024, activate hybrid depth, and I'm going to make this cube map size to 1024, and I'm going to leave everything as it is. But before that, let's change this view transform into filmic look encoding base, and let's make the look into medium high contrast. So next, what we are going to do is I'm going to press save, and I'm going to bake the indirect lighting. Go to indirect lighting tab and click bake indirect lighting. So what this will do is it's going to bake our indirect lighting. It's going to take some time depending on your hardware. So mine is not taking that much long. So I'm going to go to render. As you can see, we now have a lighting, right? An indirect lighting. Let's hide this one. Our scene is lighted up really good, but you can see that we have some kind of black areas right here and also right here. These are called artifacts right here. As you can see, these are called artifacts. This will happen when the irradiance volume let me show you. Let me move right here, go right here. sorry, let us select this irradiance volume right here and go to this object data properties. I mean the render properties in the indirect lighting tab. I'm going to activate both of them. As you can see, this is my cube map, the big reflecting one, this sphere, this silver looking sphere, and the other white ones are my irradiance volumes. So this is the props that the Eevee use in order to create indirect lighting. But as you can see right here, now we have one probe right here, and the next probe is, as you can see, inside this let me remove this one. As you can see, it's inside this this object. So that's why this what do we call it, this black spot, or the, I just forgot the name, this black spot is happening. So make sure that make sure that this indirect probes are not intersecting your objects, but sometimes they may intersect and they may not even create this kind of black spots or artifacts. That's the name that I forgot. So in order to change this, to resolve this, I'm going to press this one again, the irradiance volume, and go to render properties, I mean object data properties, and I'm going to make this one to 10. Let me change it to 10. And as you can see, this one is moved to the right here. When it was 8, it was right around this age, but when I make it 10, now it's in the middle. I don't think this will cause much problem. And again, I'm going to go to my render properties, deactivate the render property, and I'm going to bake indirect lighting again. So I'm going to finish it. I'm going to wait until it's finished. So whenever you increase this resolution, it's going to take much more time to calculate the indirect lighting, and it's going to be sometimes be more accurate. So when you finish that, go to the camera view and activate the rendered view again. And as you can see, now we don't have this that problem right here, and we don't even have the problem that we have right here. This spot was black, right, before. And I think everything is looking good. So make sure to keep that make sure to keep what I have told you in mind. Whenever a light probe is intersecting an object, it's going to possibly create an artifacts and black dots, black spots in your render, in your scene. So what you can do is you can just change this resolution, so that, as I have shown, when I have changed the resolution, this has the location of this probe has changed from here to here. And now after we baked that, we now have solved our problem. So make sure to tweak this resolutions. Sometimes you just have to change the Z resolution or the Y resolution in order to achieve that. So make sure to experiment with this one in order to resolve your artifacts. And the next process, what we're going to do is in the clipping start, as you can see, let's make this to 8. It was 8, right? And let me bake it again. I'm going to show you another way. I'm going to show you another way to resolve this artifacts right here, black spots in your render, in your scene. As you can see, when I make it 8, it's going to as you can see, it's taking a little bit longer. I'm going to go to solid view. So I'm going to select this irradiance volume and go to this object data properties, and if I change this clipping distance, for example, let me make it to this 0.5 or 0.1, and again go to the solid view so that it will bake faster, and I'm going to bake indirect lighting. What this will do is it's going to sometimes let me show you what it will do. I'm going to select right this. If we hover around this clipping start, it's going to write a description. So as you can see, so what this will do is it's going to set a clip start where object will not have a reflection. So an object that is less than 0.1 meters is not going to have reflections. That's what we're telling Blender to do. So if you go to rendered view, now we can see that our artifact is solved in this scene. So sometimes you can just tweak this one to resolve this artifact problem. But my choice is I'm going to leave this 0.01. I'm going to need to have reflection as much as I can in order to achieve realism. But sometimes you're going to be obligated to increase this one so that you won't have some artifacts. So I'm going to just change this back to 10, and I'm going to go to and I'm going to activate solid view, and I'm going to bake it again. So this is the two ways that I use in order to resolve artifacts. So next what we're going to do is go to the camera view. Let us finish until it finishes. And if I go to the render view and deactivate this overlays, as you can see, let's click Alt H. So next what we're going to do is we're going to make this a little bit darker. As you can see, the indirect lighting is almost hitting everywhere. Every part of this room is lighting. Let us deactivate this overlay. Every part of this room is lighting almost equally, as you can see. So in order to create some kind of gradual change in lighting, I'm going to activate this overlays, and I'm going to make my lighting, select my lighting, and I'm going to make this one 150. Let us make it 150, and I'm going to select this let us hide the top view, the top part, and I'm going to select this lighting prop, and I'm going to go to object data properties, and I'm going to decrease the intensity to 0.75 or 0.8. So I'm going to press Alt H, go to the solid view, go to camera view, and I'm going to bake it again. So what we're doing is we're decreasing the light that's going inside our room, and also we're decreasing the intensity that this indirect lighting, the intensity that this lighting probe is releasing indirect lighting in our scene. So whenever you also decrease it more than this, if you make it 0.5, it's going to apply half of it, half indirect lighting in our scene. So in this case, I'm going to use only 75% of indirect lighting. So if I go to the render properties, now you can see this gradual change in lighting, as you can see, right? As you can see, right, this part is a little bit darker, but in the previous one, this one was also as bright as this bed. Everything was lit or lighted almost equally. So make sure that you have a less amount of light in your scene, and change this the intensity of this indirect lighting to 0.75. Don't make it greater than 0.8. So I don't think it's going to give you a great result. So as you can see, now we have this gradual change in lighting in our scene. So next, what we're going to do is I'm going to click this light again, and I'm going to change it to 200 again, and I'm going to make it a little bit 220. So what this will do again is it's going to increase this gradual feeling in our scene. Now whenever the change that I have made from 150 to 2000 I mean 150 to 220, I have changed the lighting, right? So it's not going to bake indirect lighting right here. It's going to increase only the light intensity. So what this will give us is it's going to give us this this lighting gradual change in our scene, as you can see. So make sure that you have made your lighting to be a little bit less than it's supposed to be, and after you have baked it, increase the size and increase the power of the light to where you want it to be. Just increase it more than 50 or 60 watts after you bake it. In this case, mine was 150 before I bake it. Now I just made it 220. I think that's good, right? So now as you can see, if I go to my camera view and press V to activate my navigation panel, as you can see, we have this very good, very realistic looking bedroom scene, right? So I have made this front part to be a little bit brownish color. So next what we're going to do is select this bed decoration, the array, and go to edit mode. And as you can see, this is let's go to this solid view and select by pressing A, select everything. As you can see, if I press point in my keyboard, it's going to snap it where my selection is. I'm going to press U and press unwrap. So what this will do is going to UV unwrap my material. And then next I'm going to press V again to rotate to navigate this one. I'm going to select this, go to edit mode and press A, and then select everything by pressing A and then press U and then unwrap. As you can see, since the solidify is applied outwards, you can see our face is up at the back. That's why you cannot see it in the front. So after we have unwrapped our decoration right here, go to the camera view, and I'm going to adjust it a little bit, and go to the rendered view right here, and select this material right here, the material of the bed, and I'm going to drag it right here, and I'm going to apply it right here. As you can see, I have applied it in my bed decoration, and I'm going to press V in order to navigate, and I'm going to place it right here. But as you can see, I don't want the color of my bed decoration to be as the same as this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this one, and I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to duplicate this one. And if I duplicate this one, let me click right here. As you can see, we have a lot of materials. I'm going to delete everything right here. I don't need any of it. I'm going to press new, press V, and select this, and then I'm going to drag the material that's duplicated already. So whenever I change this one, this one also will change with it together. So after that, what I'm going to do is go to the shader editor. As you can see, the material is right here. This one is the material. What we're going to do is we're going to change the color of this one a little bit to light brown. So in order to do that, go to add and then search RGB curves, and then click it right here and insert it in the middle. As you can see, it's going to automatically connect this one whenever I insert it in the middle. So next, I'm going to press V so that I can see clearly and deactivate this overlays. And I'm going to tweak this one so that until I have the color that I want it to be. So it's all on you guys. You have the choice to experiment this one. So I have decided the color to be a little bit like this. And next, what we're going to do is go to add and then search. I'm going to search bump, and I'm going to move it right around here by pressing G, and I'm going to connect the color into the height and the normal into the normal right here. So as you can see, we have a height, but height is a little bit too much. I'm going to decrease the strings to 0.005, as you can see, and I'm going to make this one 0.5. I think is good. 0.5 is good. And next, what we're going to do is we're going to, as you can see, this one is a little bit too flat. It doesn't have any material on it, so we're going to apply this material on this one also. And if we click this one, we're going to have this material, and I'm going to drag it and drop it right here. But as you can see, the texture is not appearing. The reason behind that is this object is not properly UV unwrapped. So in order to do that, select this one. Let us get out of this camera view so that you can see. Select this one, and I'm going to create a partition right here, and click right here and go to UV editor so that we can see our UV maps. And I'm going to go to edit mode, and as you can see, everything is selected, or you can press A to select everything, press U and press a smart UV project, and then I'm going to make the Iceland origin 2.02, and I'm going to press OK. What this will do is going to deactivate this overlay. It's going to unwrap it by itself. So if I use get out of the AD mode and press V in order to navigate, now you can see our material is applied, but it's a little too big for this scene, right? So what we're going to do is go to edit mode again, and everything is selected right here, deactivate this overlays, and zoom in a little bit, and I'm going to scale it upward. So when I scale it upward, it's going to decrease the scale, right? That's what I want. Get out of the edit mode, V in order to navigate. I think the size of this one is, I think this is enough. And again, I'm going to do activate this overlays. I'm going to repeat this process for this again. I'm going to go to the edit tab, everything is selected, press U, and then smart UV project. The Iceland margin is 0.02, and I'm going to press OK. After that, deactivate this overlays, But first I'm going to select this one, this material, and I'm going to drop it right here. As you can see, it's a little bit too big for this one also, so I'm going to be closer. I'm going to go to edit mode, select everything right here, or I can press A in my keyboard, and I'm going to scale it up. Let us deactivate this overlay so that you can see our change clearly. I'm going to scale it until it's a little, I think it's a little, I think this one is good. I think this one is good. I think we have our material. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to give this one a little bit bump also. So we're going to click this one again, and we're going to copy the bump from here, Control C. Then again, I'm going to press Control V in order to copy the bump, and I'm going to connect the color into the height and the normal into the normal. So what this will do is it will give our material a little bit of bump. And next, what we're going to do is go to press Control T, press right here and press Control T, but it's not working. So before, what we're going to do is go to Preferences, go to Add-ons, and type Node Wrangler and activate this Node Wrangler add-on, and then go to Save Preferences. So what this will do is it will create for us a node setup without doing much work. So if I click this and if I press Ctrl T, it's going to create for me a mapping node which will control the size and the location of the texture. But I can just go to manually go to add, and I can search mapping node, and I can do that. But this one will do it for me easily. So after that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this mapping node, and I'm going to change the scale into 2. As you can see, whenever I change that, I can change the repetition or the scale of this material that's seen. So this is the second way, or I can go to the edit mode, and I can select everything, and I can scale it upward or downward in order to change the scale that's visible. So this is the 2 ways that you can use. But so this one, I'm going to make this one 1.5. I think 1.5 is enough. 1.5. I don't want it to be that much. And I'm going to select this one again. I think this one and this one are different, so I'm going to select this one, and I'm going to drag right here, and I'm going to drop it right here so that both of them can have the same material. So go to the camera view right here, and I'm going to press V to navigate. I'm going to go to a view that's a little bit visible. I think we have our room right here, and I'm going to press Ctrl S to save everything. I'm going to press N to deactivate this one, and press N to reactivate it again. So I don't need it right now. So now this is our scene. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this one, this material, the circle one, and I'm going to, as you can see, it has a material of its own, and I'm going to go to add, or I Shift A, and I'm going to go to search, and I'm going to press RGB curves, and I'm going to insert it in the middle, and I'm going to change this C value, and I'm going to make it upward so that it will become white, or I can just delete the material and create a normal white material. So as you can see, we have our scene looking great. So the next thing is you can change the color of this room what you want. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to give this this fireplace a texture. I have included a marble texture in the link description below. You can go find it. So my material is right here. So, but before first we need to UV unwrap this one. So in order to do that, go to the editing mode, and then go to this edge selection mode, and then press select and select sharp edges. So what this will do is going to select all the sharp edges in our mesh, and then go to right click and then select mark seam, and then again press A in order to select everything, and press U and then press unwrap. So what this will do is this will properly unwrap our image so that we can apply texture on it properly. So then we're going to go to material, and I'm going to press new in order to create material, and I'm going to place this materials in my scene. The color is right here, the roughness is right here, the normal is right here, and then the displacement is right here. So these are the 4 materials that I'm going to use for this case. And first I'm going to press this one, and I'm going to press Ctrl T in order to add mapping node, and I'm going to move it right here, and I'm going to connect the vector of everything right here. And then make sure that you have changed the color space to non-color data of everything except the color map. And I'm going to change this one into non-color. Again, everything is non-color except the color data. Then I'm going to connect the color to the base color, the roughness into the roughness. But this, we're going to need another node in order to see the effects. First, we're going to need normal map, type normal. Sorry, the normal is. And again, I'm going to go to add and search a bump. You're going to need a bump node. And I'm going to connect the normal into the normal, and I'm going to decrease the size to 0.05. And this point 1, let me make it 0.1. I'm going to connect the color to the color right here, and I'm going to connect the displacement color into the height of the bump, and I'm going to connect the normal to the normal. So as you can see, we have our marble texture applied in our mesh. So if I change the scale to 2, it's going to decrease the scale, and it's going to make it a little bit smaller. I think this looks more realistic. And then go to this modifier properties, and then go to add modifier, and go to bevel modifier. We're going to add bevel. I think this bevel is not having any effect. The reason behind that is we have manipulated this object too far, that's why. So we're now going to apply this bevel modifier. And next, what we're going to do is, as you can see, we have our 5 place done very good. And if you want to make this fireplace a little bit lighter, I think it's a little bit too dark. What we're going to do is go to add, search RGB curves again, and insert this to the color in the middle. And I'm going to make this a little bit up. As you can see, whenever I do that, it's going to make it. So I'm going to make it right around here. I think that's better, right? I think that looks fine. I'm going to decrease it a little bit so that it won't look bad. So I think we have finished doing our scene, right? I think we have finished everything. We have our curtain set up, our roof, our TV right here, our door. As you can see, the door handle does not have any material. So what we're going to do is select this one, and I'm going to just click this minus, and press new again. I'm going to make it metallic, and I'm going to decrease the roughness to somewhere 0.2. As you can see, we have a simple metallic material for the handle. So I think this is good for now, for the day scene, right? So next, go to the camera view, and I'm going to place it right here. So next, what we're going to do is we are going to animate this camera so that we can have this little bit of animation option. So in order to do that, change this to this editor's type to a timeline. I think we have 250 frames, and let's change, go right here, this output properties, and let's make the frame rate to 25 so that we can have 10 seconds. And then stretch this one a little bit, and let's move this downward, and I'm going to change this one to 3D viewport, and I'm going to press 0 in order to go to my camera view. So this is my camera, and I'm going to go to this solid view, and I'm going to go to the viewport here, and I'm going to hide the top, and I'm going to animate my camera from this side, from the top. So I think my first frame is, I think this one is really good to be my first frame, right? Or let me scroll this by using my middle mouse. You can just press your middle mouse and you can scroll it to the right and to the left. Let me go to the render view right here. Let me deactivate this overlays, and I think let me select a really good camera view, right? I think the original position is really good. So next, what I'm going to do is go to the item, and in the location I'm going to press right click and insert keyframes, and again in the rotation I'm going to press insert keyframes. So now I have a keyframe right here. So I'm going to jump to 250. To do that I'm going to click this one, this one. It's going to jump to the last frame, and I'm going to move this one GX a little bit right here, and I'm going to RZ in order to rotate it. I'm going to rotate it right here. I want this to be my last frame, and I'm going to, after I do that, I'm going to the location, right click, insert keyframes, in the rotation insert keyframes. So after that, if I play this one, now we have this a really smooth animation for our bedroom scene. So by using this trick we can animate a different animation for our scene, right? We can do anything. So for the output properties, what we're going to do is go to this output properties right here. In the output you're going to select the folder that you're going to place this one. I'm going to select right here, I'm going to accept, and you can always use this PNG. You can render it out in PNG and change it to animation in the video editor, but I don't choose that one. I choose this FFmpeg. I click this one and I'm going to press this 3 arrows. I'm going to change this one H 264 in MP4, and in the encoding this is set up already. If clicking this one has done this job, and this one is MP4, and I'm going to make this quality to high quality, and I think medium quality is also really good, but I'm going to make it high quality. I think this is all for the rendering output. So then I think everything is set up right here. I'll make sure this render is more than 64. You can also make it 128. I think, yes, I think 64 is also really good, but you can always increase the sample, since Eevee is a real-time render engine. It's not going to take that much time, and I'm going to click render animation. So when I do that, you can see that my animation is being rendered, and it only took about 2.6 seconds for this to render one frame. So by this method we can render an animation for our scene. So guys, next what we're going to do is we are going to create a night scene. So in this night scene we're not going to change any materials. The only thing that we're going to change is we're going to change the lighting system that we have used. So make sure that you have finished rendering this one, but in my case I'm just going to delete this one. And the next first step that you need to do is you need to delete this indirect lighting that you have calculated. I don't think that we're going to need indirect lighting in a night scene, but we're going to see that since lighting is an experiment, there's no one way around it. There's no secret formula or something. You just always have to experiment in order to have to achieve realism. Some lighting setups that are good for one scene, they may not be good for the other one, so you always have to experiment with your lighting in order to have a realism. So after we have deleted this indirect lighting right here, the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to change this light. Make sure to click this light and select this light and go to click this lamp and change the power to be 75. So I mean 75. I'm not trying to create a dark night scene. I'm just trying to create this twilight feeling. I'm trying to create a twilight scene, so I'm going to make this to be 75, and I'm going to let me increase the saturation, and I'm going to make a little bit this one a little bit blue, just a little bit. I'm going to, since the skylight and the twilight time is a little bit bluish, I think this looks good. So next what we're going to do is click this lamp right here and right click right here and select cursor to select it. So now we have our cursor right here. Go to add and then a light and then a point light. So after that, go to this lamp right here and then activate contact shadows and make this one 0.03. Make sure that to not increase this more than 0.05. It's not going to be accurate, I think, in sheer scenes. And then we're going to increase the amount of this point light, and we're going to experiment it. As you can see, I think it kind of feels like this is a night scene, right? Already. I think let me make this one to be 75. And then next what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this one and I'm going to make it a little bit red or something. So next we're going to add some lights in this. So in order to do that, go to add and then click light and select spotlight. We're going to import a spotlight, but as you can see, the spotlight is placed in the cursor where it was. So in order to snap it right here, what we're going to do is first shift right click right here, so that the cursor will be right here, and then right click and then go to snap and then selection to cursor. So what this will do is it's going to place that selected object to the cursor. And then I'm going to go to this face and then activate X-ray mode, and I'm going to rotate it so that it will match the direction of the lamp right here, the bedside lamp. And now next go to the top view and then move it right here so that it will be in the center. So as you can see, we have our light right here, but if we make this drag this arrow to be bigger, we can have a better area that the light is touching or reaching. I think let me make it right around here. I don't think spotlights are that much vast in there. I think this one is good. And as you can see, we have this line visible right here. So in order to remove that, I'm going to increase the blend. So whenever I increase the blend, it's not going to have this sharp edge that you have seen right here. So as you can see, this one is good, looking good. And next, what I'm going to do is, I think I will stay camera view and the camera view right here. And then I will go to the top view right here, and I'm going to press Alt-D in order to duplicate this one. The reason I use Alt-D is whenever I change the light properties of the one of the two, it's going to change both of them again. And I'm going to rotate it 180 degree. GX. Now we have our light right here. So if I change the intensity of, let me make the intensity to be 15. So when I do that, the intensity of this light, I think deactivate the X-ray mode, and the intensity of this will also be 25. And next, also if I change the color, as you can see, this one will also change. So I'm going to make the color to be let me decrease the saturation right here. I think this one looks good. I think it looks good. And next, what we're going to do is we're going to add some lights behind our ceiling. I'm going to press Alt H right here, and then I'm going to hide the top. Let me just deactivate this. So after that, you can see I have a ceiling right here. So I'm going to press Shift right click, and I'm going to go to Add, and then Light, and then Area Light. So as you can see, I've placed lighting behind my ceiling. So if I go to right here and activate this rendered view, if I press Alt H, and let me move my ceiling a little bit downward, GZ, so that I can see my effect. Control Z diamond. I think this one is, as you can see. Let me move this one a little bit upward so that I can see the lighting effect. As you can see, if I deactivate this overlays, now we have this lighting behind our ceiling. But you can see one problem. Whenever it's moving to the edges, the intensity is decreasing. So in order to change that, what we're going to do is select this one, this light, and activate this custom distance. I think 40 is good. So when we do that, we cannot see this gradual fall down of the lighting. So if I select it again and deactivate this overlay to see clearly, if I deactivate this custom instance, you can see that the light is gradually, fading away. But if I activate this custom, it's not fading away. So I'm just going to increase the intensity. So I'm going to make it 20. 20 is good. And then I'm going to change the color, right? I think make it a little bit yellow, not that much yellow, but a little bit yellow. I think this scene is looking good. And next we're going to add a light again over here. So as you can see, I have placed lighting behind this this wall also, or this decoration also. If I activate this render view right here, you can see this light right here. So next what we're going to do is, I think the intensity of this light is a little bit too bright, right? So what I'm going to select this light, and I'm going to make it, I think, let me make it 45 or something. I think 30 is good, right? I think 30 is good, so that I can have this the feeling, the light feeling from this bedside lights. I think let me make it 40 is good. I'm going to decrease the intensity of this light to be 50. Let me make it 50. I think 40 is good. So next, as you can see, we have this night theme, but it's not lighting up as much as it's supposed to be. So let us try to bake indirect lighting. So, but first, before we bake that, let's hide this one. Let's select this lighting pro, go to the object data properties, click right here, this headline, I don't know the symbol of this, but select this one and change the intensity to 0.5. Let's bake it with the intensity of 0.5 and see what happens, and deactivate this this render view so that it will bake faster. So as you can see, we have finished baking our indirect lighting, and I think it's looking good. As you can see, we have a nightly feeling right here. And next, what we're going to do is we are going to animate our camera, and hide this one, and go to the top view and select this one. Since we have already animated this one earlier, we're going to go to this output properties, and we're going to change the start, make it the start to 250 and the finish to 500. As you can see, what this will do is we are going to continue the render from the previous one. Let's make a drag it right here. Let's make this 251 the start, and I think we already have the start. So let's go to the endpoint 500, and I'm going to move this one GY, GX, and I'm going to move it right here. I'm going to rotate it a little bit. I think I rotated a little bit. And if I hit insert keyframes and again insert keyframes, we're going to have an animation, right? But as you can see, it's a little bit slowing at the end, right? So in order to remove that, select A right here, everything, and press T, and then press linear. So as you can see, the movement of the camera is equal from the start to finish. So now we have this camera. So if you feel like this animation is a little bit slow, what you can do is go to this output properties, and you can increase the time ramping and increase the all to 200. So if I make this one 200, if I make this 250, if I play it, if I play it, it's a little bit faster than the first one. As you can see, You can see it's a little bit faster. So that's the effect of this time ramping. So if I make this to be less than the new right here, it's going to make it slower. So you can just tweak this one, and you can render out with the speed that you want. For this case, I'm going to leave this one for 200. I'm going to render it out. So in order to render, we have already previously set up our rendering paths and then the settings. So I'm just going to hit render animation. It's going to render my animation. So this is all for today, guys. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe for my channel so that I can give you more videos like this in the future. Thank you.